Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Coffee Moaners. Lovely to see you. After yesterday's show, we kept on giggling at all your funny stories about injuring yourself. We're very sick like that. We're two Scorpios. But I have to tell you, Mark nearly mortally injured himself this morning.
With a
And
vitamin pill.
I was thinking of all you guys. I said to Mark, you've got to tell the guys in the morning. What did you do?
Well, it was this morning that it happened.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell them this morning.
Sorry.
And that's all right.
No, both of us were woken up at 4:00 this morning, so neither of our brains are working well. Could go one way or the other. We could be fabulous or we could be shite.
So I'll demonstrate. So I came into my room. I was like, oh yeah, let's get some of these. Let's get some of the vitamin pills out. Put them on the table. Turned over here, and then went to get a turmeric pill.
Done his back, did his shoulder.
Picked it up, and I had to come round.
I couldn't even walk back across the room. Oh my God, we need to have that clip always on here so we can play it every day. You know, the one with the guy.
A turmeric pill injury.
So, and Kiki said, why does that happen to Dad? And so what did I say?
Because he doesn't stretch.
Because he doesn't stretch. It's a running theme. All you muscle-bound people, I need to build more muscle. He needs to build more stretch.
I said to my mum yesterday, wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. And she just said, fuck off.
She just can't move anything now.
Can't move anything,
because she didn't work on her muscle or on her ligaments.
But she only had one muscle. She didn't have a lot to work on.
Guys, it's so important to stretch and to roll your neck. And just let's all just do a little bit of it now. Just sit up. Okay, because he's got a headache. Okay, so now where people go wrong, stop. You've started, you don't know what you're doing. You don't want to just drop your head straight forward because your head's heavy. Everything's just got to be very gentle. Just a gentle, not crazy, because you can hurt your shoulder even doing this. Just a gentle roll. And then a gentle roll back. Lift your shoulders up and down.
You're going much faster now. It's getting stressful. Sorry if you're listening on podcast. This is...
No, just lift your shoulders up and down in podcast. Breathe in, breathe out. And just gently roll your shoulders again.
I always forget to breathe.
Right? And he always gives up. Now slowly just turn your head to the right. Not massively turning your head right round to your cricket. Just lightly to the right and to the front and to the left and to the front and to the left. Can you feel those muscles?
Why are you looking at me with
up the back of your neck? It's so nice.
Slanted eyes. Why are you looking at me?
Because I'm enjoying my stretch.
You look like you're having a terrible time.
I'm enjoying it.
That's
this
enjoyment.
Is what I was doing. You can grip me cantilevers, but you mustn't touch me plums. Anyway, enough of this hilarity.
So hang on, note to sing happy birthday for yesterday to the country pumpkin for yesterday.
Oh, was it your birthday yesterday?
So country pumpkin.
We will be singing for you today.
Apologies. Let me make a note and even shout it again as you hear us wrapping up. Because it's not because we don't care. It's just there's so many, actually thousands of thoughts going through our heads when we're sat here with you guys. So anyway, thank you. Can I just quickly say thank you to everyone who came on the live last night, contributed to the Joker kickback chat. More and more people than, and far more people than the mainstream media would have you think, like the film.
They're trying to bury it and say it's a disaster. We loved it.
So there we go.
So today we are going to be talking about the Florida chaos from this hurricane. My God. Well, Mark's got the film here, but he showed it to me last night. Absolutely.
Oh God, no, I haven't got that film.
Oh,
what the?
I thought that was the whole point in Florida.
Yeah. No,
right,
no, you carry on talking.
So,
I'll get it.
So this incredible film that Mark's going to show you, and it's what do you call it when you do a potential film? What could potentially happen?
Yeah.
As I say, our brains aren't working. We're also going to be We're going to be showing you another film that we watched that popped up on CNN last night, and it's a new book out called War, and it promises to be a bit of a earth shatterer. Actually, they are already saying, because in America around election time they say there's always the October surprise, don't they? Something that shakes up the election, and this book could almost definitely be doing that out in the States. So we're going to show you that little video because we loved the woman reviewing the book, didn't we?
Yeah.
We're also going to be showing you the photos. I don't know if you've seen this, the suicide pod. And there's a lot of controversy around the suicide pod. The suicide pod that you get into, nitrogen gas. Yeah, I think it's gas, is then released. So we're going to be talking about that. And if we have time, we're going to be talking about around this article, is your child entitled, and what you can do. And if we don't get to that, we will do it tomorrow.
I read through, I'm just screen recording the what's it called? Simulation, that was the word. But obviously I've turned the volume down. So when I do actually play it to you, there will be no volume. But you can see visually what they're predicting. And
the simulation of what could happen.
What could happen.
Did we show them yesterday the video of the weatherman crying? Yes.
We did, breaking down.
Yeah, if you watched yesterday, Mark had a great bit of video of a weatherman.
Meteorologist.
When I say we've had 4 hours sleep, that's literally a meteorologist, and he started crying, didn't he? He broke down as he saw what could potentially happen.
I have got some footage that I managed to purloin. I homed in on the wrong clip this morning. Well, not wrong. This was an additional clip. And this is footage. These aren't the official hurricane hunters from the Hurricane Center, but these are people who are scientists who do go up in their own plane to ascertain the strength of the hurricane. And this is them footage that the Sun acquired of them flying into Hurricane Milton.
Grab my phone real quick.
Oh, how did they do that?
Well, damn.
No?
Well, yeah, but they are incredibly gung ho. I mean, when we were in the, it's not a B-52, but you know the great big planes they had in Vietnam. You see them on all the Vietnam Wars films. Where the back comes out and they all run down it. We were in one of those, and we had to run up. We were given a parachute. We were told what the possibility was of us not returning. We'd been late because we'd overslept in a motel in Biloxi, which incidentally, Biloxi was just taken off the map with Hurricane Katrina, I think it was. I mean, it's the whole area. We got on the plane. They told us all the danger, and when that jumped there, that was them going through the. That's them going into the. Apparently, one of the reasons Hurricane Milton is so strong is because the eye in this storm is so small. So in a sense, if you imagine the ring, the hole in the middle of a donut to be bigger.
Do you try and get that film of you?
It's in the I've got it.
Oh, you really should.
It's up there. It needs to be transferred because it was shot on digibeta, so it's on an old tape. So
wouldn't you like to all see that?
Yeah,
guys?
no,
I would. I'd absolutely love it.
So what I'm getting
you never know.
You
might pull. I might go. Ooh.
Oh, nice. What might you pull? Oh no, you might pull. No, who's going to pull what?
Oh, for God's sake, you've ruined the bloody.
I love being pulled.
Who's pulling what?
Okay, so let me 082. I'm now going to pull up a clip. This has got no audio because I was screen recording it just now. But this is a visual
stimulation, not stimulation.
You're talking about pulling, aren't you? Again, pulling and stimulating. This is a visual
simulation of what could happen.
This is a visual stimulation.
How far away are we from this? Is this them totally fear-mongering, or are we now close?
Well, they're saying that this will create a 6 foot and then potentially, going from 6 to 9 to 15 foot swell of water, which is essentially.
But where is it at now?
At the moment, it's accelerated so quickly over the coast. It went. I think most storms, it went back down to a 3, and then it shot back up to a 5, and it gained 95 miles per hour wind on top of what it was already at, which apparently is unprecedented. There's only 2 other hurricanes that have done that. But anyway, this woman is in a studio. She's showing us a stimulation of what the height of the water swell could be. And it will just pop up.
Once that water comes up to 3 feet, you can see it would be coming up my shins up towards my waist. This could be enough to, but this is just what it looks like on the map. We can show you what this could look like if you were to find yourself in this scenario. Once that water comes up to 3 feet, you can see it would be coming up my shins up towards my waist. This could be enough to knock you off your feet. It could even float some cars that could be parked on the side of the roadway. This is extremely dangerous, but once we get up into that 6-foot range, look at how high this water goes. Winds pick everything up. Cars would be floating at this point. This water's over my head. I wouldn't be able to stand here, even withstand the force of the water coming in. There might even be dangers like chemicals and exposed power lines lurking in the waters. But once we get to that 9-foot range, this is an absolute life-threatening scenario. This water is through the first floor of your home into the second. You can see there's fish floating around in here. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. So if you find yourself here, please get out. If you're told to go, you need to go. Listen to those local officials and make sure you heed the advice if told to do so.
Wow. Now, I suppose that is hugely important for them to do that, because there are always these situations where people won't leave their home.
No,
and now making it really clear that you'll die.
You're absolutely right. And in America, sharks meet you. I mean, in America, there is a real resistance and refusal to want to move. And you can understand it. You've built your livelihood. I think something like 1 million people are displaced. Now, I'm not in any way wanted to draw a parallel or an equivalence or suggest that you want any of this to happen on anyone. But I tell you what is interesting about this is we have this assumption that displacement only happens to people in countries like Gaza. It's the kind of thing that doesn't affect us. This is Florida. This is Tampa Bay. The mayor of Tampa Bay said, if you don't leave, you will die. I filmed in Tampa.
So they are going to have how many people with no home?
The cost of this is going to be terrifying.
Well, hopefully then America will think again about the billions that are sending to Israel, who are displacing millions. The insanity of those two situations. Just think about it. People in Florida are going to need that money that they are sending to Netanyahu to displace people there and to murder people there. It's so crazy. It's almost like a power greater than any of us is just going, shh.
Yeah.
You're all crazy in this world. Just sort your shit out.
Billy Talon, also price gouging is rampant as well. Are you talking about price gouging around these crises? Suddenly all sorts of kind of facilities and, I guess getting cabs out of there. Can you imagine all the kind of ticketing for things?
Thank you, Billy. That's a great word. Bidenomics. Insane.
Absolutely
insane.
But so all of our thoughts go out to everyone in Florida. But
I can't even imagine. Imagine looking at that video and thinking this could be my.
Now I've got I want to conflate this, and I do want to connect this to the American election. We are going to be doing another American election as we enter the last 28 days. I think, in a weird way, this could be the October surprise, because I think the way in which both presidents deal with this. And already there's a real sense that potentially Kamala hasn't been seen in the right places at the right times.
The governors at Florida have said they've had incredible support from Biden. He's rung up straight away. What you want, everything you need, you can get it. Trump has been straight away was in saying they're not doing anything. And yesterday he was.
Well, he was actually saying yesterday.
So they want to give them food.
Why is she on a podcast when we've got a catastrophe coming in?
But then she made a fatal mistake. Obviously, she wouldn't have done it on that day unless it was a live podcast. I don't know. But there's an incredibly successful podcast out there. I can't remember the name of it now. And it's like seen as uber cool. And Bethany Frankel was talking about it last night, saying, I think she's made the most horrendous mistake because actually she could be cool, and she's made herself look incredibly uncool. And at a time when Tampa is going through what it's going through and Gaza and everything. So, yeah, I think from what I gathered yesterday, they were both putting feet wrong.
Potentially.
Trump and her, they were both just like, it was just tacky, the whole thing.
I just want to pop this comment up from Kelly Collinson. I've not seen your comment. I'm not sure if you're in America. Kelly. People who don't drive have been absolutely forgotten. And I was thinking this scenario.
Oh, my
People who
God.
are poor are stuck. A woman with 6 children said she couldn't afford to leave a Category A zone. It's awful.
Oh, my God.
And apparently, I mean, what was was it the hurricane before this one or 2 before this one left 250 dead in its wake? I think many of the casualties were in the sort of Bahamas, weren't they, or coming through the West Indies? But it's just. I mean,
I was listening to
hideous.
a woman on the radio yesterday, an American woman actually, and she was saying that people have been woefully let down, and as Kelly is saying, in areas, and they kept coming back and saying, well, Biden has said this, and Biden, and she said, right, okay, well, great if you said that, and great if the governor has said that Biden's been great, but we're here on the ground and people are in dire need. Bring back some of that money that you're spending in Israel. Bring it back to the Americans and help them out, huh?
But also, I mean, some of the other things about this that are kind of concerning, I don't know if I mentioned this to you yesterday, there was reports yesterday of rivers running in the Saharan desert due to the strength of rainfall out there. Yeah. The metabolism, if you like, of the planet's weather is completely off kilter. I mean, it's petrifying. So I mean, that's big news today, and that's obviously imminent, and it's the thing is, even if it doesn't, let's just hope it doesn't get to those stratospheric scales. I mean, yes, the media like to sensationalize, but when you're actually, I hate to use the phrase, in the eye of the storm, better to sensationalize and try and get people out. But my God, as you say, Kelly, imagine being a family with no financial options to evacuate.
Shit, you've got 6 kids.
Yeah, it's just awful.
Oh.
Okay.
And which one?
Yeah.
Do you hold on to?
Absolutely.
And all those kind of horrible nightmare decisions.
So let's talk about, given that we've mentioned Biden, money, Israel, Netanyahu, a new book has been published called War by Bob Woodward.
And we were kind of like going, what's this? So many of these books come out, don't they, with promises. Yeah. And then they've just got nothing inside them. But as they say, this guy's got receipts.
Well, and also Bob Woodward, wasn't he the guy?
He's a very well-known journalist.
But what was the really infamous case? Gosh, someone please tell me the film, All the President's Men, was it? There was the great big story that Bob Woodward, and was it the Nixon? Was it to do with Nixon? I'm sure he Watergate scandal.
Watergate.
It was Bob Woodward who uncovered that. I actually remember Bob Woodward, and you know this because you love the book too. He wrote the best biography of John Belushi. Do you remember?
Oh, what, this guy?
Yeah, Bob Woodward. It's the same guy. He wrote, do you remember that, where they had a photo of him on the front?
I love that book.
Read that book. If you don't know who John Belushi is, he was an American comic actor who tragically died, drug addiction, etc.
Well, let's play the film we watched.
So just to clarify, there are 2 big stories really emanating out of this. The one is Trump sent COVID tests to Putin. We're going to be talking about that in our American chat.
When they were short of them in America.
Yeah,
but she'll say, I think.
Well, I haven't got that clip. But what I have honed in on is Biden's rather sort of unedited or unvarnished comments about Netanyahu.
What we haven't been able to get to the bottom of is how he's got all these transcripts.
Well, yes, apparently I think the transcripts have been fed. Some transcripts have been fed to him through people on the inside.
Whistleblowers.
Blowing
whistles.
Yeah, people blowing whistles in the same room.
These are actual transcripts of what was said.
So this is another American channel just reporting this.
Incredible.
And just bear in mind as you watch this, yes, there's a great satisfaction in hearing these words said, but ironically, by the end of it, I felt even more furious that nothing has changed.
When he knows all this.
Furious with Netanyahu 7th as the war in Gaza escalated, intensified. Biden loses his temper. He says he's furious with Netanyahu, and he says to an aide, quote, that son of a, you can read it on there, Bibi Netanyahu, he's a bad guy. He's a bad effing guy. He doesn't give a about Hamas. He gives a blank only about himself. He's an effing liar. 18 out of 19 people who work for him are effing liars. And Biden actually, there are scenes in the book that are extraordinary where Biden confronts Netanyahu directly. So here's a conversation between Biden and Netanyahu. Biden, Bibi, what the F? You know the perception of Israel around the world increasingly is that you're a rogue state, a rogue actor. Netanyahu, we saw an opportunity and we took it. This was about going after a terrorist leader. The harder you hit, the more successful you're going to be in the negotiation.
Oh. So how does that... So there's 2 elements to this. Netanyahu surprises us not at all. Given that Biden is old... And given that, and I'm just playing devil's advocate for a minute, you know exactly what we feel about how Biden, the genocidal support, the appeasement, which hasn't even been appeasement, let's face it. And I really want to throw this out there just a bit. one of the things I genuinely like about Americans and the American culture is there is a sort of naivety or a childlike kind of naivety, which I don't means a simpleness. That every country has simple people. Look at our previous government,
and our present
one, yeah. But there's a sort of not ever really believing that the absolutely awful truth of a situation could necessarily always be parked behind something. That doesn't mean that America hasn't engaged in awful things either. I just wonder, listening to these comments, whether what we've had with Biden is unfortunately a perfect storm of many things. A man who's so old he can't fucking fathom or work out anything.
Well, that I don't think is true now, having watched that.
Right, okay. So a self-declared Zionist and huge supporter of the state of Israel, which, to be really detailed on this, is different to supporting Netanyahu, right? There are people in Israel who are not Netanyahu fans. And then there's, of course, him being the president in a country where AIPAC and the Israeli lobby have everyone by the short and curlies.
And he's taken millions upon millions from AIPAC.
Right. So, okay, you see, already my devil's advocacy is sinking without trace.
Right.
Does it make you feel at all better that he said this or worse?
I feel that what you might be saying is, you know, the film we've talked about, Israelism, which is a film all about Americans that bought into Zionism and then went to Israel and were horrified by what they saw. And many of them say we went into Israel and we exited through Palestine because when they'd been brought up, they'd been told nothing of the Palestinians. They're just Arabs. Arabs are just everywhere, and they they're you know, close to animals kind of thing, you know. And then when they got there and they saw the apartheid and they saw the dehumanization and they saw the suffering and the three-tiered lives that go on, you know, ways of living that go on in Israel, their eyes were open. Now, I've been hearing that right across the states. I follow all kinds of accounts now from Jews that were Zionists that now say they are not Zionists. Now, right at the beginning, October the 7th, he went out there and he stood on the world stage and he said, "I'm a proud Zionist," right? So I think what you might be saying is, has he also has come to understand more what Netanyahu's Zionism means? But he stood on the world stage. Also, there's the huge amount of millions that he takes from AIPAC. But was there some naivety with just how awful did he have the American brainwashing of Zionism?
Yeah, well, yes, or certainly to the point that perhaps only in the cold light of day during this crisis has even he seen the full extent
the whole world.
Hang on,
the whole world.
God, remember jump out of my skin there.
Sorry.
The full extent of Netanyahu's Machiavellian manipulation of everything,
and he doesn't know how to step back from it.
And Kelly Collinson, I'm assuming you're American. I haven't seen you around, but thank you for your contributions. Biden has been completely in over his head from the start. And he's being used by those in real power, which has allowed the Gaza situation. So to continue. And I do wonder whether I've said it before, when we've seen the clips of Netanyahu at the White House and they'd be engaging with each other, it literally felt like a sort of relative or someone who was elder abusing, running circles around him, kind of disorientating.
But then I just get so upset because it's just like, such horrors again last night, what they did in Gaza. It's just so horrific. But anyway, so these games are going on with these sociopaths, right? Playing these games, close the fucking door and I'm going to fucking say what this fucking guy is like. He's a piece of shit and he's a rogue state. And then they come out and they give us this shit, these lies. We don't trust any of you. We don't trust any of you. And another day, another week, another month, another 6 months, another year. Are people really hearing what is happening out there? Please God, let these reveals mean something alongside what happened last night.
Absolutely. I want to play that. I also want to read this quickly. MeTube saying, if Biden wanted, given he's leaving office, he could really say some stuff about Netanyahu and screw up Netanyahu's re-election process. You're absolutely right.
And he could do something and not be known forever as Genocide Joe. He could do something. We are sick and tired of him saying, we're 24/7, you know, doing everything we can, says Kamala, for a ceasefire. Stop sending bombs, You've done 4.5 times Hiroshima already on a strip of land the same size as East London. I know I keep saying that, but it's really important we get that into our brains. And, you know, and so just stop sending them, Kamala. Stop sending them, Biden. Guess what? In 2 days, we have a ceasefire.
It would have to stop. Francesca Bastos, Kamala was already caught in an interview saying she supports the Israeli people when they asked if she supports Netanyahu, I think in the 60 minutes. I think it could be a sign, and I think she'll change it if she wins. I mean, I think, you know...
anything. I'm looking for pinholes of light. Give me pinholes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here as an apologist. I think the whole thing is a fucking shit show. I think it's shocking and criminal that someone like him has led America in the way that he has led this. What does he want this to be his legacy? Has led this genocide, you know, into. I mean, he's led Israel. He has literally escorted. They've pacified, and all of the. Bibi, exactly. Change your nappy. Here's your pacifier, Bibi.
I send you some more, Bibi. You want some more? You just be good boy. I send you lots more bombs.
Yeah, exactly. But as Nadia said in the White House press briefing, we need more journalists like this, and I hope this journalist throws shade and shame over every single journalist in the mainstream media in this country. Because no one is asking
names.
Any piercing questions, because they are all the organizations in this country supported, propped, have Israeli interests or have a vested interest in the Zionist mission. It's a fact. It's just a fact. And because otherwise you would be getting some questions at least like this. And I'm just going to play
it. I just wanted to know what the name was because we must give him a credit.
I think it might pop up.
I'll find it.
Has financed a genocide in Gaza for the last year. And every day you're up there denying accountability for it. So, I mean, what gives you the right to lecture other countries on their moral...
So if you have a policy question for me, I'm happy to take it. If you want to give a speech, there are plenty of places in Washington where you can give a speech.
Yeah, but people are sick of the bullshit in here. I mean, it is a genocide. You are abetting it, and you are risking nuclear war in Ukraine for this proxy war.
Plenty of other places to give a speech. Go ahead.
You are talking bullshit. We've watched them talk bullshit
every single day. These journalists try to hold them accountable. There's the old guy who's brilliant, but this guy just cut the shit now. He probably won't be allowed back in. He probably will not be allowed back into that press corps. But it's like, how much longer are you going to stand there and just barefaced lie? God,
Peter Ducey. Is it Peter Ducey? Is that his name?
I must find the name because it's
let's just hear it.
Because I want you guys to follow their account.
I just want to hear it one more time.
Has financed a genocide in Gaza for the last year, and every day you're up there denying accountability for it. So, I mean, what gives you the right to lecture other countries on their moral...
So if you have a policy question for me, I'm happy to take it. If you want to give a speech, there are plenty of places in Washington where you can give a speech.
Yeah, but people are sick of the bullshit in here. I mean, it is a genocide. You are abetting it, and you are risking nuclear war in Ukraine for this proxy war.
Plenty of other places to give a speech. Go ahead.
Excuse me. Answer that. Nuclear war that affects all of us. How dare you just say
Peter Ducey is the other guy? But a really important point that we said after that. Sorry. Peter Ducey is the other older guy. I just wanted to read this. Edward Bevington says the press in there, no, they can't talk. Press accreditation gets cut. That's a democracy. Sorry, who is he?
So the journalist is somebody called Liam Cosgrove, but he's at something at the Grey, spelt Gray. Zone News, at the Grey Zone News.
That's their handle.
Because they do quite a lot of these reveals on people, and they're just brave. They're brave because, you know, I looked at their account yesterday and they've got all sorts of, a bit like WikiLeaks, you know, and I thought, he'll be thrown in jail.
His press accreditation will have been pulled away.
Yeah.
All of those reporters, and that guy, Peter Ducey, who's the older guy, you feel him really stepping very coherently and articulately and cleverly. He tiptoes through his questions precisely to avoid the pitfalls of being thrown out.
But he's so clever. And this guy just stands there like something out of the Munsters, just pulling evil, wicked, like pantomime evil faces.
This guy is an absolute shambles. He's the most evil.
And if you don't want to make a speech, there's like,
he's the most repulsive individual, a supercilious. I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of his tenure in the Biden government, he peels his face off and reveals a lizard underneath
You know
it.
what? I can't wait to see these people in the international courts for war crimes.
Yeah.
Because all the videos, matey flips, we've got them. Matey flips.
Billy Talon, always good again. I think you're an American living in the UK. Biden speaking is only as good as the teleprompter he is reading. The string pullers obviously have some kind of hand in the pocket with this. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Everything he says, is monitored. I mean, and let's face it, he says so many kind of incoherent and nonsensical things, as well as sort of revealing statements. Like, you know how old people, like my mum does it, your dad does it, they'll often say something they shouldn't say because it's not PC, but it often speaks to the truth. And I think that's what you've got a little bit in that tirade about Netanyahu. It's a moment of kind of, unvarnished kind of candor.
It's kind of it's in one way it's validating, but then in the other way it on the side is so enraging, because you stand out there, all of you, all the time, looking at us like we're all lunatics when we're saying this is a rogue state and this is a genocide, and they come out with their smarmy git faces.
Okay.
Sorry to any Americans, you might not know what smarmy git is, but just look at that guy's face and you'll know what
he's
smarmy git is.
He's the true meaning of smarm. As is the other guy. As is the other guy who looks like an older version of the dad from Modern Family.
It's because it's not their looks. It's what's coming from their souls.
It's what they're exuding.
Yeah.
They're exuding such a sort of sinister deception.
They could look like Brad Pitt and they'd be ugly because their souls are mean and dishonest.
Kirsty J says Carmela's big pearl earrings are earplugs with someone telling her what
yes,
to say.
that's what Trump says, isn't it?
To Americans, Edward Bevington says it's a twat.
Oh, it's a twat, is it?
We just want to show you this because for any
smarmy is like smarmy. That he'd be a bit like that. He'd have sweaty fingers, and he'd want to go, "Well, hello, smarmy."
Yeah. God, suddenly feel really repulsed. Just quickly, and we're going to just show you this clip. I posted it on my stories last night. If you want proof that what's going on in Lebanon is a carbon copy rerun of what Israel have been up to in Gaza, this is what happened yesterday.
שימו לב, הטיילת האיראנית.
I love the way that they post everything.
מול אביבים.
It speaks to such crass, beyond frightening stupidity that they go and thrust a flag up. Even that supercilious bastard in the White House said it's not advisable.
Now, no, didn't he say it was something worse? He said, now he criticised that.
Well, he said,
what does that mean? Biden must be round the back screaming, effing and blinding and hunting like a nutter.
But how stupid.
I mean, how incendiary.
How stupid
maybe
are these people?
Maybe they thought they landed on the moon or something.
Well, exactly. But I mean, that's a criminal. Putting up a flag like that is a declaration of ownership and therefore a declaration of invasion. If let's just go park here for a minute. If a Lebanese flag or a Palestinian flag had been plonked up in a decimated area of Israel, say the area after the October the 7th attack.
Everyone would be nuking, wouldn't they?
Right now, everyone would be dead.
But Mark, we must always remember, we get confused, don't we?
Who?
That the Middle Eastern lives, the Arab lives,
it's colonialism.
Yeah.
It's basically colonialism.
That's what it is, and why we find it so difficult is we believe the world has moved on so much, and we're fucking morons, because of course
fucking hell, we're the morons, not the fuckers putting the flags up. Okay, don't hurt, baby, you've got a headache.
Sorry, I need to do something to make
You just got rid of a headache. Okay, we're going to move on to a topic that's quite serious, and we're going to drop the "Is Your Child Entitled?" because I think we've discovered that Benjamin Netanyahu is incredibly entitled, isn't he, Bibi? And when you read through the list, they're all applicable to Bibi. I hate Bibi.
Do we have a little bit of nostalgia in the middle?
Yeah, let's have this.
I was thinking of you, Faith, today, because I thought Faith will like this. Look at this.
Tell me, Dirk, you'll get smacked in the big Nero. Go on, you go home. Get your hair cut. Go on, get your hair cut. And a flower. It's a shame that know where to play. We ain't got nowhere to play. We play football out here. Right. We're down the Sphinx, and then all the old bags open the window. We can't play football, can you see? Because it's either the football coming or it's the caretaker. No, but in the Sphinx, if we play near a car, we get told we just move near a car, right? And they'll go, get away from our son's car.
That was the dilemma. That was my dilemma every weekend.
Yeah. Don't you be riding your bike outside my house.
Yes, and I love that she's reached deep for that. Get your haircut.
No, but when he goes, then all the old bags, have a look out the window. But let us just pause for a moment for their astonishing style choices.
Yeah, whoa.
The two boys. In the flowered shirt. And one with the guy. I love her on the star. I don't know. We can't even go over there.
Our arms are already crossed
that would
like
have been
the
me.
old people.
That would have been me, like down the flats.
Where's
there.
he got his Australian outback
I
hat
know,
from?
I know. And at that age, I would have thought those two were the hottest boys. I'd have been down the flats, because there was flats around the corner there, and me and Dean used to go down the flats, chat to the boys, and we would have been like, oh, have you seen their shirts, Crocodile? Have they got flares? Oh my God, they've got flares.
Country Pumpkin says they made those shirts from curtains. They probably did.
But the hat. Can you imagine?
He may as well have put
a young
corks
boy
on it.
Now being able to go out in a hat like that and not be beaten alive,
beaten into a pulp.
I mean, the courage of the hat.
Oh my God!
They just made me smile. That little film. Sorry if you're on a podcast, but just check it out on the YouTube channel. It's worth it because they're so cute.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to our American audience, you probably didn't understand a bloody word of that. That's what we call Cockney.
Cockney.
That
was like the flats down in Scotland. Was a standard rant on a Saturday or a Sunday where you were constantly being told it's a horrible word, but they did seem like old bags. Always telling us. We used to
say old bags.
You
old dream bag. Of it now.
Go and get your egg.
And do you know what? Those women are probably about 45 there.
Wow.
Just
to put it in perspective.
Yeah. People just got older quicker, didn't they?
Yeah, that's true.
But also, if you're wondering what flats are, American audience, flats are
like
apartments.
tenement blocks.
Flats.
Happy birthday to Country Pumpkin. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Country Pumpkin. Happy birthday to you. And for yesterday, a happy birthday to Avril McClure.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Avril McClure. Happy birthday to you. And I just want to say, guys, so in a minute, I'm going to be putting up on my Instagram one of our auction prizes. Now, you know, we're trying to raise this £150,000 by Friday so we can take the powers that be to court over disallowing women in England, Wales and Northern Ireland to have the drug in HER2. So, which is now shrinking our friend Hannah's tumours. So that's how important it is for women that are lining up for it. I'm going to be putting on my feed the first auction, and it is VIP tickets to Loose Women on a day that I'm there, so I can look after you.
What makes it VIP? They get to sit on your lap.
Well, they don't have to queue up for ages.
Oh,
nice. They come to the front. Nice. They come. I go up to them. I do photos with them in the audience. Then they'll come up and they'll meet the Loose Women and have a photo there.
Oh wow!
And after that, lunch.
A blowjob. Sorry,
Mark.
Sorry.
He's got ADHD and he's not taking his medication for that anymore, and he keeps saying really inappropriate things. Fucking hell, Mark. Give a girl a break. So
I'm going to go and make a coffee.
Thank you, Ellery. And then after the show, so this is for two. This is for two people. You come to lunch with me and the other three, the Fab Four. So, and of course, every single penny of it goes to the cause. Every single penny. So there will be bids for that. I think the bid is starting at £400. It's a lot. I get it. But there's also a raffle that you can go to get VIP tickets just for Loose Women. The lunch is an extra. So the bidding is starting at £400, but please buy a raffle ticket and be in for a chance. On the raffle, there's so many great things. There's trips away to Cornwall. There's so many amazing things, and we're still getting the whole time brands and celebrities donating. So just keep your eye on it all.
Siobhan Jordan says, to be fair, it would help the auction.
And if you could share my Instagram, if you can't enter, sharing the post makes a huge difference, because the more it gets out to people, the more people bid. We've got to get that 150 grand by Friday. So yeah.
Get on it.